Well, alrighty, we have our dinosaur e-waste second laptop with a genuine i3 8th gen processor in it. This thing is a dog, but it worked pretty good for what it was intended for. It's 2 years past its sell-by date per se to go into the recycle bin, dirty keys and everything. But what we're going to do is we're going to drop some more memory in this. It looks like it has 2 SODIMM slots and we're only running 4 gigs, so we can get at least 16 gigs into it. Maybe that'll help. Windows auto updated this dog, so unfortunately we find out that the operating system has absolutely spun to a crawl. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I'll pull these little sticky feet off. They'll probably never go back on again, but we'll pull them off. I think we have some screws hidden under here. I'm not going to show you tearing it apart. There are 2 screws. They always like to give you some screws up front so that they frustrate yourself with their design, and then you get, oh, I can't figure out how to get in here, and then you tear your equipment up. So we're going to tear it up, and probably the next shot you'll see will be after we've pulled the little rubber strips off and got her apart. Oh, and by the way, we're going to repaste the processor at the same time. I don't know that it's necessary to do it, but it's been in there, what, 6 years, 6-year-old machine? So it's probably drying out. So we'll do that while we're there. We may show you some of that. Well, incoming opinion alert. Now, you might ask me a couple of things since we're getting ready to look at the memory. And you might wonder, well, Dale, why didn't you buy some or go like 32 gigs versus the 16 you put in there and go faster than the 3200? I think it's maybe 3200. And the reason is because this is not because it's old, but because this is an HP laptop. It's been my experience that HP is like several other companies. They really aren't interested in you fixing your laptop or making it last. They don't make any money if you extend the life of your equipment. They only make money by forcing it into obsolescence early, so you buy another one. They're not real good about that. And when I look at the BIOS, I can't figure out how to get into an advanced setting. So even when you look online, I know I got a weird face to sunlight. It's the time of day is coming at me. The information you get, you can't even find out if it will support 32 gigs. When I Googled it, I went to the HP's website, tried to find the specs, and it only told me how it was built, not what it would actually do. And I did find on the forum somewhere, they said they do 16, do 2 8s. So I bought 2 8s and I used just 32 because if I can't do XMP or adjust the settings on the memory, it's not going to go any faster than it would be before. So anyway, the other reason is very simple. This is the real estate laptop. It does almost everything is web-based. You know, it's just internet stuff or documents, and so it's not really processor or graphically dependent in any shape, form, or fashion. So yeah, it may be obsolete for every other aspect, but for that particular task, I can maybe get a little bit more time. The problem is Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft is most people's problems in the computer world right now. Especially with this Windows 11, and I've got a horror story at the end to tell you. Well, we've got it apart, and I can shine a little light on it. I have to do this so I can see it, but let's see if I can make it go a little close up. There we go. So you see, we definitely need to get 6 years worth of dust off of it. I could hold up reassembly and replacing that SATA hard drive. I don't know if it's really worth the effort. Well, I just don't know if it'd be worth the effort of spending $50 more on it. Now, we've got the memory modules, which are right here. It's easy enough just to replace those and of course, clean the dust off of, the little back plate. Now, here's the problem, and I figured this would do it. I couldn't get the rubber off without tearing it up. And I suppose I could order some, quite possibly. I don't know. If not, I have to come up with something, put some little rubber feet on there. Again, it's old. I'm just trying to get some life out of it. But yeah, we're going to take this off and clean that. And exactly what we get with the processor after we repaste it. Well, we've got her apart. I don't know if this is close enough, but yeah, it's dry. It came off. It was well adhered, but it had been desiccated a little bit. Get a little light on there, and I don't know if I can get my finger in here to touch it to show with the light. That'll work for the light, I guess. And right here, if we touch it, see, it's not coming off. It's barely there. There may be just a little bit there, but it's essentially all dried up. So we're going to fix that. That may help the processor run a bit better. We're going to take some Q-tips and some alcohol, rubbing it 91% alcohol, and clean this stuff up. Take it out to the garage, blow the dirt out of it. Well, there we have it. You see how it's hard to get a focus with this cell phone doing the video on it, but you see how the fins are plugged up with the dirt. We'll take it outside, the dust and the sticky stuff. We'll take it out in the garage and blow all the vents out gently with compressed air. Well, let's see if we can do this. I don't know that I can do it. I'm not that coordinated, but we're going to put a little paste. That's a terrible looking glob there, me holding this phone like this, but we'll spread it. You saw how much we had before. Anyway, I've got a little spreader. We'll play with that. Hey, appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, if you will, subscribe to the channel, either the YouTube or the Rumble channel, which this appears in. And if you can, check the notification bell or settings to make sure that you get notified when new videos are posted. Appreciate it. That's a terrible looking glob there, me holding this phone like this, but we'll spread it. You saw how much we had before. Anyway, I've got a little spreader. We'll play with that. It was $28 plus whatever tax, local Tennessee tax, to take the memory from 4 gigs to 16 gigs. That's a factor of 4. I stripped the hard drive down as best I could, but because this is that gosh awful Windows 11 with its bloat, it's just a huge operating system. Even when I took off all of the unnecessary stuff I possibly could, it still, as this thing sits, still has about half of the operating system taken up on that hard drive, which is about 64 gigabytes. I've got some videos, a few things in there, some work-related stuff, but for the most part, it's mostly that. Now, I could potentially replace it, and I didn't at the time. I thought, well, half is better than being full. I'll just do that because this is a SATA drive. If I can spin around here, do you see those 2 notches? Let me see if I get my little screwdriver in here and still see what I'm doing. All right, see these little notches? So this is a SATA drive. Plus, we know that because we can read it from the operating system. So we know what that is. And we also know it's now upside down. Maybe I'll flip this around in post-production. But this is only 128 gigabytes, right? You can see it right there, hard drive, 128 gigabytes. So a 512 would be what? It's going to be 4 times the size of that. And I can get one of those fairly cheap because SATA is cheap in this form. Nobody's using it anymore. It's too old and too slow. And that makes good sense why it would be cheap. But unfortunately, I don't have a way to then image this onto the replacement drive unless I buy an enclosure, and that's $16. So by the time it's over with, I confess, I went ahead and bought the hard drive, a 500 gig hard drive for this. And so it'll be 4 times the hard drive, 4 times the memory over here. And maybe that'll get us a year or 2 down the road, because you can buy, quite honestly, you can buy a laptop starting about $500. That's fairly equivalent to this right here. More if you want a good performer that'll last you more than 4 years. But again, we talked about that. Now here, see this big cavity? Do you remember our previous one with the dead hard drive, the Toshiba? We fixed it because we wanted something to do screen captures just for a video. And it's like, well, I'll make a video out of making the video machine back to working. So anyway, it just happens that one of these would fit right there. And if we look, we have hard drive. So this could, if I had one of those special adapters, I could probably just use that connection. Although I think this is slower than the traditional SATA because it's in a laptop. Now SATA 3 is SATA 3, so it doesn't really matter what form it's in, unless of course you have a special interface where it connects into your motherboard like on these laptops. And I think it's what it is. I do know that this one is running about what we would expect SATA 3 to run, whereas that old, was it a Pentium? The other Pentium, the older one that's 10 years old, that old laptop I use, it'll still work as a backup for the roaster if I need to. And that could be more important than what its real value is, just in case I booger up the backup hard drive, which it does have in that machine up there as well. So anyway, I guess we will extend this video, or maybe make a second video when we do the imaging of that drive. Now, to get one of these sodiums out is not real hard. I don't know that I can show you well holding on, but we just push this and this on this side out of the way as we lift up with our little thumb, and it'll pop right out. Filming, but anyway, that's all there is to it. We get that up and that pushed out. There we go. And it just pops out. And the other one goes in here, and the other one goes in there. It's not difficult. I mean, you guys can do this. And the double kit just comes in a little plastic thing like that. We just plug them right in. There's nothing to see in that. And there it is. It's installed. Oh, that took a massive amount of brain power to do that. Just plugging that stuff in.